Hi everyone. Due to recent events on Free Thought blogs and with Atheism Plus, I thought now would be a good time to tackle the problem of misogyny, understanding what it is, what the dictionary definitions are, how people use the term, why people use it, and what it might possibly mean in an ideal world. So first of all, let's look at, let me bring up some standard dictionary definitions. First of all, my favourite dictionary, the Oxford English Dictionary, defines it simply as hatred of women, the hate or contempt of women. Getting a bit more modern, we do a search on Google, we find ourselves at the Free Dictionary. Definition 1, hatred of women. What does that come? The American Heritage Dictionary of the English Language, 4th edition. Next one, hatred of women, comes from Collins English Dictionary, complete and unabridged. There's another one there, hatred of women. Go to dictionary.com. Hatred, dislike or mistrust of women. So there's three things there. They seem to be decreasing intensity. There's a big difference between hatred and dislike, and then we go down to mistrust of women. When we go to Wikipedia, it says misogyny is the hatred or dislike of women. So pretty universally, the dictionaries say hatred of women. And I think universally that's how people understand the term. Many people have never heard of an alternative definition of misogyny other than hatred of women. Let's look at some more definitions. P.Z. Myers wrote a blog on August 27th where he explains in more detail what he understands by misogyny. And this is what he says. A lot of people claim that they don't hate women, and they don't. They don't hate women who fit their narrow, limited version of what a woman should be. Okay, so what he's saying there is that, again, it's about hate. He uses the word hate twice there. So he definitely agrees with the dictionaries that misogyny is about hate. But he says that it's not hate of all women, it's only hate of groups of women, particular groups. He doesn't specify how large those groups are, but we can say that the groups could be any size. So the group could even contain one woman, and if that woman is hated because she doesn't fit a narrow or limited version of what a woman should be, then that constitutes misogyny. This is in P.Z. Myers' estimation. Looking further on Free Thought blogs, we find a Stephanie Zvan who explored the subject of misogyny in one of her blogs, and she puts forward some interesting ideas. From what I can tell, and I'm trying to make some sort of coherent sense out of what she's arguing, she doesn't believe that misogyny necessarily has anything to do with hate per se. She goes on to say that, and these are her words, someone who thinks women are generally bad, this, that or the other, is a misogynist. So there doesn't need to be any hate there. Simply thinking that women are bad at something women generally are bad at something, means that you're a misogynist. And she has no hesitation, if you fit the description that she puts forward, she will label you as a misogynist. This is regardless of the fact that people everywhere understand the word misogyny to mean hatred of women. That doesn't matter as far as she's concerned. She wants to call a spade, and she decides what a spade is, apparently. So the next question is, why do people use the term misogyny specifically? For example, at Free Thought blogs or in the culture of Atheism Plus, why is the word misogyny thrown around so freely and easily? And I think it's pretty obvious why it is. It's a heavy-hitting word. It's a stigmatising word. It's a big stick. It's a big stick that you can hit someone with to good effect. You'll take a smart if you get hit by the stick of misogyny, and so that's why they use it. I mean, maybe I'm biased in saying that's why they use it, but I'm telling you what I think. And there are other words you could use to say the same thing, but they choose that particular one. Now, does the word misogyny have to mean hatred of women? Well, no, it doesn't, because words mean whatever we say that they mean. I mean, sure, the word misogyny is defined to mean the hatred of women in all those dictionaries that I mentioned earlier. And sure, people everywhere do understand the word misogyny to mean hatred of women. They don't understand it to mean dislike of women or distrust of women. They actually understand it to mean hatred of women. But it doesn't have to mean hatred of women. In the case of misanthropy, it can be defined as hatred of humankind or hatred of humanity. It basically means a contempt for, or having a very low regard for humanity. We can also say that about men as a group or about women as a group. So misogyny could mean having a low opinion of the behaviour of womankind generally. Likewise, a misandrist could be someone who has a low opinion of the behaviour of men generally. But can we say that those attitudes are absolutely wrong? Can we say that a person is a bad person if they think that humanity has a low behaviour? Can we say that a person is a bad person if they think that women have low behaviour or that men have low behaviour? I don't think we can. Even if a person thinks that men have a lower behaviour than women, or that women have a lower behaviour than men, it's not a clear-cut thing. I don't believe we can just say outright, oh yes, that person is absolutely dead wrong because they think that men's behaviour is somehow inferior in this regard, or women's behaviour is inferior in that regard. It's not clear-cut. But the people at Atheism Plus, and feminists generally, I think, the people who use the word misogyny a lot, to them everything is crystal clear. They know exactly what a misogynist is. Nobody else does. They're the only people who get it. They know exactly how low people's behaviour is, or how lofty it is, and nobody else does, apparently. Now, I'm aware of many people on YouTube and in my daily life who do have some kind of hatred, dislike or contempt for radical feminists. They don't dislike feminists, and they don't dislike women, and they don't expect women to spend their lives in the kitchen. They encourage women to think for themselves and to do whatever they like. But for whatever reasons, they have a very strong dislike of radical feminists. And it doesn't logically follow, in my opinion, that the hatred of radical feminists is necessarily misogyny. So I'm asking all you people out there who do use the word misogyny a lot, is to please sort out in your own minds exactly what you mean by the term. Is a misogynist someone who hates only radical feminists, but who supports feminists? Is a misogynist someone who hates a particular group of women, or one woman? Or is a misogynist someone who hates all women? Or is a misogynist someone who merely has a generally low opinion of a group of women? A low, just as a person would have a low opinion of human behaviour, they may have a low opinion of women's behaviour. Because unless you sort out and clarify what you mean by this word, communication isn't possible. And where there's no communication, that's no kind of human life. As it is, the word misogyny, if it's used in a conversation, it's a conversation stopper. That's the end of the line, especially so far as men are concerned. I just don't think that's the kind of world we want to live in.